Hi, everyone. Welcome to this book review on the Abbey Research Reads channel. Guys, speaking is a challenge sometimes. I am Dr. Kristen, and I am coming to you today with a book review of a book by Jessica Zucker called I Had a Miscarriage. And I was completely unaware of Jessica's work before this. There is an Instagram, there's a whole host of things, largely because I've never had a miscarriage. I've never been pregnant. I've never wanted to be. I'll just lay my cards up front here. I knew from a very young age I did not want children. But being a lady in the world means that I have, off the top of my head, around 12 friends who have suffered from miscarriages, who have lost their children at various stages of their pregnancy. Some who had chemical pregnancies and miscarriages very early, some who were very, very far along, and their child still died in some way, shape, or form. Stillborn, everything else. And the grief of miscarriage is something that women carry a lot within themselves. And I think in my lifetime anyway, we've gotten better about talking about it publicly. When I speak to my mother, who is currently in her 70s, she is very clear that that isn't something that was ever talked about when she was growing up in New Jersey and the United States. And we're getting louder about it now, which I think is so important, because a huge part of trauma, of dealing with trauma, which is what a miscarriage is both a trauma to body and a trauma to soul and a trauma to spirit, is walking through it with other people. America is highly individualistic. I think we score like 98 out of 100 on individualism scales. But most of the immigrant communities that made us up are much more collectivistic and much more innately understood about grief and how grief is a communal process. But the United States has just kind of continually ignored that and pretended that we are all our own island. And I'm really appreciative that women like Jessica Zucker have stepped out and said, you know what? No, we aren't islands. We have to do this. We have to do it together. And I know I'm not alone. And I'm going to just speak out how my feelings were and everything else. In terms of a book as a book, it's fine. There's a lot. I don't love the structure a whole heck of a lot. Just personally, it jumps a little bit too much thematically. And she obviously wants to do both a chronological journey and a thematic one. And that dissonance was difficult for me to follow sometimes. As a memoir and the content of the book, it's stunning and vulnerable. And I had never sat with some of these things for this long. It is raw and honest. I have no idea if anyone who has had a miscarriage, how they would feel about this book. I don't know how they would interact with it. But I do know, as someone who has never had one, I was incredibly grateful for how vulnerable and honest that Jessica chose to be on these pages. How clear she was about even the medicine behind it, and how little research we have into women's bodies, which is something we have talked about a lot on this channel, that there's such limited data into reproductive health, full stop, but definitely into the reproductive systems of a woman's body, that it's very difficult sometimes to even have answers that these families crave. And I really feel like they should just deserve. It's bizarre to me that we can't. Anyway, that's a separate rant. I felt this book was a gift to those of us that have never experienced this before. And in terms of empathy building, my gracious, it ticks every single box. I spent a couple hundred pages in an experience I've never had, and probably, as long as my trusty IUD holds out, will never have. And I'm grateful for that. I'm incredibly grateful for that. This is another example, too, of a way in which we talk about how women aren't a monolith, and you can break them down into women, white women, women who are mothers, women. You can keep going down and down and down and down. And it's important to remember, too, reproductive choices is a way that women are different. Reproductive experiences is a way that women are different. Traumatic reproductive experiences versus positive reproductive experiences is a way that people are different. We're going to keep talking about this kind of stuff both on this channel, our book review channel, and on our main channel, Abbey Research, where I will be interviewing women about reproductive choices constantly, and men, if they'll talk to me about it. And we have more space to hold empathy for each other as we move forward into hopefully a more, I don't use the word unity, but a more cohesive world as we all figure out how to be human a little bit better together. So if you haven't already, I would ask you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Make sure to hit the little bell so that you don't miss a book review. We cover a wide range of topics, which you can see in the playlists at the main page. And also like and head over and subscribe to the main Abbey Research channel so that you don't miss any content from the good doctors. I'm Dr. Kristen. It's been an honor, and we'll see you next time.